Now, a new plan laid out detailing a solution to the massively increased rush hour congestion over the past year. A toll that could cost drivers up to 37.5 shekels per day, provided they're driving through the center of the state. And further plans are to be revealed in time. So joining us with more insights into this situation is economic consumer behavior expert, Assistant Professor Vili Abraham. Vili, thanks so much for being with us. Now, the tolls apparently apply in varying degrees to drivers in 3 different areas: central Tel Aviv, and the inner zone and the outer zone. And of course, this is also during certain times of day. But what exactly does this mean, and where are these zones?
All right, so we're talking about fees that will be collected via electronic means, cameras. And we're actually talking about 3 zones: central Tel Aviv, which is Tel Aviv itself. Then there's the inner area, which it hasn't been reported what exactly they mean, but I'm assuming that they're talking about the immediate cities around Tel Aviv, like Holon and Ramat Gan. And when we're talking about the outer cities, we're talking about Herzliya and, for example, Petach Tikva. I assume that's what they're talking about. Now, the fees will vary depending on the hours of the day. So if you're traveling within Tel Aviv between 6:30 in the morning and 10 o'clock in the morning, the rush hour, you'll pay 5 shekels. If you're traveling within Tel Aviv between 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 7 p.m., you'll pay 2.5 shekels. If you're traveling in the inner ring, Bat Yam, Holon, Ramat Gan, you'll be paying 2.5 shekels if you're driving in these areas between 3 and 7 o'clock. The outer rings, Petach Tikva, Herzliya, and other cities, you'll pay 5 shekels between 6:30 in the morning and 10 o'clock in the morning, and 2.5 shekels between 3 and 7 p.m.
So what about residents who are living in the city, for example, who during rush hour traffic are actually in the opposite direction? They're leaving the city, but they're still technically driving in the city. What about commercial vehicles that make a living driving in and out of these high congestion areas? How is this going to affect them?
Yeah, well, that's a serious question. We know that buses and taxis and emergency vehicles they will be exempted from this fee. It's a really good question. What happens to truck drivers and people who are making a living out of driving? If we look at Tel Aviv residents, I'm assuming that even if you're a Tel Aviv resident, you will be paying the fee, because most of the traffic caused in the morning is by Tel Aviv residents. So I'm assuming that they'll be paying the fee regardless of where they're traveling. If you look at a OECD report that was published in 2020, Israel lags behind significantly in comparison to other OECD countries, both as far as infrastructure development is concerned and both as far as investment in infrastructure. And the report suggests that Israel does develop infrastructure, does start to levy this congestion fee, and also divide Israel into metropolitan areas. There's this model called the metropolitan authority model. And it means that there will be an agreement between different cities, say in the south of the country, just like there is here in the center of the country. And this will enable people from the periphery to find jobs and to commute to places of work outside their community.
Well, I know I drive in and out of the city all the time, so I guess on a personal note, I'm not loving the toll, but we'll see how it all plays out. Vili, thank you so much for being with us.
It was a pleasure.